biggest benefit for working with MyTasker is it allows me to focus on revenue generating activities. So for instance, I don't get to bill for doing research for a blog article or doing something like that, or even doing research for potentially going on vacation. So allowing me to not worry about those tasks and allowing me to focus on stuff that is revenue generating for me is probably the single biggest benefit that MyTasker brings. The other benefit is that it completely takes things off of my plate so that I don't have to worry about it. Like I said, doing the research for a blog article, I'm probably not going to win a Pulitzer Prize for my blog, so doing a lot of the work for it can be unnecessary, especially when I can outsource it to somebody that can do just as good, if not a better job than I would doing the blog article in the first place. So that's one of the big benefits, is increased focus on profitable activities and not having to worry about other things that might be time consuming or even stressful. Communication's always been very good, very thorough. If anything, the bottleneck has been me responding to issues. So, it's been very nice. It's very communicative. Typically, when I need projects done, it's typically not immediate. I don't need to have a project completed immediately. So it's okay for me to send it overnight or to do something else like that. And oftentimes my issues with MyTasker has actually been problems on my end, that I get overworked sometimes and not able to respond to a question or something like that. But for better or for worse, MyTasker does handle a lot of this stuff without my needing constant input and micromanaging the particular task. So overall, it's been pretty good. Best experiences that I've had have been doing research. So I've always been floored by the amount of research that MyTasker is able to do in a very limited amount of time. So for instance, I've had them do research for blog articles. I've had MyTasker do other types of services that involve research, even sometimes doing some what might be considered legal research. I've been pretty surprised by the thoroughness of the research that's been done, even so that it even cuts down on the amount of time that I have to spend doing some of the research as well. The issues that I've typically had with MyTasker have been very few and far between. But have sometimes popped up with somebody that's maybe new to the system and doesn't necessarily understand what's going on or doesn't understand the context. But a lot of times that's as much my fault as it is anything, not providing a context for what we're looking for and what we need. And so that can be a problem as well. I've mentioned it before that the issue has been in the past. It's not really the issue anymore. There used to be a point system that was a little bit not as clear, but now the point system is pretty transparent. Plans have definitely been flexible enough. Typically, you think about 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week, whatever the setup is, or a month, you can break that down into how many hours per week do I really need help. And so it's pretty easy to upgrade and downgrade as needed. So for instance, this month I'm building into a busy cycle, so I've upgraded. But if I get a slow cycle, it's easy for me to drop down into a lower grade. So one of the funniest things was when I first started looking for a virtual assistant. And so the task that I used, I was getting married, and so I needed to buy a wedding present for my wife, and I didn't have time to go shopping in all these different places. So I wanted to buy her this one particular thing. So I gave the specifics to 3 different virtual assistant services. The first one, I don't think ever even got back to me. The second one gave me 1 or 2 places. They didn't really give me a whole lot of details. MyTasker gave me a complete spreadsheet of about 5 different places that sold the item that I was looking for. Not only where they were, but phone numbers for them and price ranges. So I was very impressed, and that level of research has not dropped off, and that level of service has not dropped off since I've been using MyTasker.